What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another brand new brewery that I've never even tried before. I feel like it's an exciting time over at the channel because I have a lot of that kind of going right now. I still have some stuff from like breweries that I've had before that I'm just excited to have more of their stuff, but I have a lot of different beers from breweries I've never even tried before still in the selection. So I'm pretty damn excited for this one because these guys are out of North Carolina, I believe. Let me see what town they're in. These guys are out of... Where are they? What the hell? Let's see. Where'd it go? Okay, Shelby, North Carolina. They're in Shelby, North Carolina. We're going to be talking about one from Newgrass Brewing Company today. And I don't really know much about these guys. I know they do a couple different, they do some smoothie sours. They do some IPAs. So they do really experimental kind of stuff when it comes to... They're definitely more of a smaller batch. They do smaller batch beer brewers and all that kind of stuff. They kind of do experiments with like a 1 BBL brewing system, which is, if you want to compare, like a 7 BBL brewing system, which is about 220.5 gallons. So when they do their experimental stuff, it's usually a very small batch so they can see if it's going to run. But most of the stuff that they do over at Newgrass is going to be very small batch, very kind of limited quantity, but they're not like making huge amounts of stuff. But they do have like a canning line, so they have stuff be able to get canned. So I was able to get my hands on one from Tavor, and today we're going to be talking about one of their Cobbler fruited sours, I guess you could say. Probably going to be like a smoothie sour. We got some space trash today. And look at that can art. You're able to see from the thumbnail. But yeah, this looks absolutely pretty delicious. I don't know. It's a very small label, which I'll get into later on why, I don't know, my thoughts are a little iffy on this. But yeah, this is a Cobbler sour ale with blueberry coconut. It's just saying blueberry and coconut, I guess. Okay, so what they say right here on the front of the label is, warning, highly fruited, without pasteurization, keep cold, drink fresh. That's always good, because when something's that heavy and that heavily fruited, you want to keep that cold at all times. It's something that definitely, to all my friends out there who drink fruited sours, that's a big recommendation I'm going to give everybody when it comes to drinking that kind of stuff. Or because you might have like a situation to where you leave it outside for too long, CO2 starts building up in the can, and you try to open it and it explodes on you. I've had that happen to me before, so. But other than that, let's see what else we got here. Let's move over here a little bit. So this one we're going to be looking at today is a 6% ABV, and like I said, it's a blueberry coconut cobbler sour ale. And so I'm expecting some really nice creamy notes in there. I'm guessing if it's going to be like a cobbler, it's definitely going to be creamy. It's definitely going to be thick and heavy like a smoothie. Hopefully going to get some maybe like coconut blueberry notes in there. I'm assuming the kind of the bitterness from the sour kind of point of it is going to be from the blueberry. I don't see anything happen from the coconut and all that stuff, but maybe because of there's a cobbler, I might get hints of cinnamon as well. And you guys all know my thoughts about cinnamon in beers. I'm very picky when it comes to having cinnamon in beer, just because it's a very, very fine line for me where it becomes from enjoyable to too much. So we're going to find out if it's on that kind of threshold or not. But without further ado, let's crack this guy open and see what this thing's like on the smell, because I'm excited for this. Okay, so let's see what we got on the smell. Oh yeah, definitely getting like a tart blueberry on the nose. Definitely getting like a cinnamon kind of note in there, so we'll find out if it's too much cinnamon very quick. But it doesn't smell like there's too much cinnamon on the nose. Definitely getting the blueberry though. Yeah, it smells absolutely delicious. So without further ado, let's pour this guy. And I'm going to be drinking out of my Deciduous Beer Co. I call this my sour glass just because the way this glass is, it kind of makes sours look really cool. So I'm going to pour this guy and see what we're looking at. Well, yeah, this is thick. Look at that pour. With fruited sours like this, you can kind of be able to pour it kind of like this a little bit. Definitely getting some floaties at the top, but that's okay. The bubbly and all that stuff on the top with the pasteurization. Well, not being pasteurized, so there's definitely going to be a lot of puree in here, which... Let's try to pop some of those bubbles, because this does look like a thick one. That's for damn sure. Oh yeah. Getting a bunch of puree already floating on the top, but without further ado, let's give this guy a try. So, cheers everybody. Happy Saturday. Yeah, that's absolutely delicious. Not really that sour at all, in my opinion. When it comes to these kind of cobbler style, like smoothie kind of fruited sours kind of thing, the only kind of sourness you're going to be getting is like those natural tart flavors of the whatever fruit they're using when they're using such heavy purees. Of course, this is going to be something that's going to be most likely on tap anywhere. A lot of these are going to be made for only being canned, because you got to think about when it comes to making a beer like this, you're using such heavy amount of puree and all that stuff. Kegging it and putting it on tap at your tap house doesn't seem logical, because when you keg it, stuff sits in the keg, and then all the sediment, all the puree is just going to sink to the bottom after it sits for a while. So there's really no point, and you're not going to have any way to mix it up or anything. Like you can't, like you do with a can, to where you can turn it upside down, get the stuff moving, and then it's just not logical. So this is going to be a kind of beer that's being made and then going straight to the canning line to be canned and be out. Most likely, if it's served at a tap house, they're going to be taking it out of the cans and pouring it for you that way. But I'm actually really enjoying the flavors I'm getting this one. Getting mostly like a blueberry, kind of slightly cinnamon. It's not too cinnamon on the flavor, which is really nice. I was kind of worried about that at first, but the flavors are really, really spot on. The blueberry is nice. It's slightly tart, but not too tart. The cinnamon kind of makes it and adds like a really nice sweetness to it. Coconut is very, very light. Not really much going on there with the coconut for me, but definitely that natural, like fresh blueberry flavor is what's really making it absolutely delicious. So, and plus the creamy kind of vanilla creaminess a lot at the end of it is just, yeah, makes an overall really good experience. So, looking here on Untappd, like I told you before, it's 6% ABV. And before I get into the average rating and how many people have rated this one, let's look at some similar beers here to figure out what would be some stuff that I would recommend if you can't get your hands on anything from Newgrass Brewing Company, or if you're looking to try something that might be similar. So first one we got here is one from Wiley Roots, which I've done a couple of reviews for their stuff before. And let's see, they got the Country Fair Cobbler, which that's already right on the top of the list for when it comes to what I'd probably recommend, since you're looking for a cobbler kind of beer. And if you can get your hands on stuff from Wiley Roots, that would be the best kind of introduction to a cobbler. If you can get anything with the name Cobbler in its name, yeah, you're going to be having a pretty good time with this one. Let's see, we got another one from Newgrass that they recommend called the Summer Camp Sammys. Their grape jelly. It's like a peanut butter and jelly kind of thing, and that was a collab with Salud Cerveza. And let's see what else we got here. Then we got one from Dewclaw Brewing Company, which is called Sour Me Black Apple. And then we got one from Humble Forager Brewery called Coastal Sunrise V3, which is the blueberry, raspberry, strawberry, vanilla, lactose, honey granola. Okay, that sounds like a lot going on there. It sounds delicious. But then we got the final one here that they recommend as a similar beer. Another one from Newgrass called Push It Real Good Peach. So I'm guessing this is a peach style Frida Blender Weiss with peach, vanilla, lactose, and pastry cream, which sounds absolutely delicious. But of course, if you can't get your hands on anything from Newgrass, the one I'm going to recommend on the similar beers list that shows on Untappd probably is easily going to be the Blackberry Maple County Fair Cobbler. Yeah, just because you're already going to be getting that cobbler style already, or you're going to get notes of cinnamon in there, so they'll let you know right away if you like beers with cinnamon in there and everything. But overall, yeah, this beer is absolutely delicious. I'm a fan for sure, and you can definitely see it's a thick one. There's a lot of puree in this. You can see already that's the inside of the glass just being laced with sediment and puree and all that stuff. But the flavor is absolutely fantastic. So, before I go on a little bit, let's move this around and pour some more in. Because you are thick. So, looking at here, actually, before we talk about the average ratings and stuff, let's show what they show as an actual description of this beer. So, the Blueberry Coconut Cobbler Ale brewed with blueberry, lactose, coconut cream, toasted marshmallow, vanilla bean, cran cracker, and bourbon-fired cinnamon sticks. That's what kind of got my attention here when I was reading this. This is the bourbon-fired cinnamon sticks. So most likely, when they say that there's cinnamon sticks in the beer, there's a couple different like things that you'll kind of experience when it comes to how they add cinnamon to it. So going from what I know and how we've added different kind of things to our beers when we brew them, when you're adding cinnamon sticks or maybe adding like a oakiness or a wood chippy kindness, you put the stuff in like a cheesecloth almost. It's like a cheesecloth. You kind of soak it in booze to kind of get all the impurities out of it. Like when you're trying, it's pretty much like cleaning it, making sure there's no bacteria on it. So you're going to kind of pretty much pour something onto that cheesecloth and kind of like a little bit of a water bucket or something like that, just to kind of get the stuff flowing through it. So what these guys probably did is they put cinnamon sticks inside of like a cheesecloth situation, I'm assuming, and then poured bourbon on it, and then probably set it on fire and then put it out right away to kind of get that charred bourbon cinnamon stick kind of flavor, but which is very unique. I think that's a really cool way to do it. I would like to see how that process actually works, because that sounds like a pretty cool thing going on there. But I would definitely like to see how they actually do the bourbon fired cinnamon sticks on this one, because it just seems like a really cool thing, and I would love to see the process of them adding it to the brew, because they're most likely adding it when it's sitting in the fermenter. Most likely, it's when they add right after they add the yeast. They kind of maybe either do it the same day or probably a day after they start putting in there and letting it soak, and then after like a week or two they take this, or maybe when they're moving it over to like a bright tank or something like that, they will take the stuff out of there when they're pretty much going to clean the fermenter and all that stuff, moving it to like its second stage almost, when they add the different other stuff to either use like a clarifier or something like that. But yeah, so looking over here with how many people check this one in. So this one has over 2,253 ratings and has an average rating of 4.28 out of 5, which is pretty fantastic if I say so myself. Definitely a good rating on this one for sure. And I can see why. The flavors here are explosive. The blueberry flavor in here is great. The coconut is like a slight coconut flavor. It's not really in your face. The blueberry is what really hits you when it comes to just like that fresh, like juicy, a little bit tart blueberry flavor you get right on the front that kind of has that little bit of a coconut in there. And then you kind of get like this marshmallowy, vanilla, creamy sweetness that kind of washes everything away. I'm not really getting much graham cracker out of this. It might be adding like a bready note to it. I don't taste the bready note. And that cinnamon flavor in there that really balances it and kind of elevates every flavor you're getting in here is fantastic. This is a great, great beer. So let's see what other people have to say about this one. So look and see what other people. I have no friends that have checked this one in, so I'm the lone check-in from my friends list. But let's see. Somebody gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Somebody gave it a 4.25 out of 5. Purchased at the Crafts, which is most likely it's a beer store in Zurich. So if you're in Zurich, you might be able to get your hands on some of this space trash from Newgrass. That's pretty cool. So let's see. We got High Craft Beer Market. They purchased it at, and they gave it a 4.25. Where's this one at? Okay, this is in Cary, North Carolina. Let's see. We got somebody purchased at Lowe's. So Lowe's actually has this over there. This lady gave it a 5 out of 5. Completely loved it. And let's see. This person gave it a 4.75 out of 5, saying, "Whoa, that's badass. Thick blueberry and coconut cobbler. Yum." Completely agree. Another 4.75, a 4.5. Let's see, a 4.25. Let's see, another 4.75 purchased at the Coastal Craft Beverage Company, which is in Calabash, North Carolina. What else do we got here? Somebody purchased at Craft and Draft. Actually got it on draft, which I'm curious how they got it on draft. And that's in Columbia, South Carolina. So let's see, this guy, another one, 4.25, saying not super tart for blueberry, but the flavor is there, creamy and not overly sweet. Yeah. Pretty much almost exactly describes this one. So yeah, like I said, blueberry is all the way there, not in your face, but it's not too tart. Of course, it's a very juicy blueberry. The coconut, for me, very light, kind of adds like a little bit more depth to the beer, but then that kind of cinnamon kind of note coming in, kind of mixing with the like marshmallowy vanilla creaminess kind of come along with that blueberry. Just enhances everything, makes the beer that much more enjoyable, and just turns out to be just a really, really fantastic beer. So, let's start thinking about what we're going to be doing for ratings on this one. So, let's see. Can art. Here's where I'm going to kind of get in a little bit with the can art. Because I love this label. I do. But there's one thing that they did here that kind of irks me a little bit. So, I always talk about taking up real estate on your can art when it comes to you have an entire like canvas and platform to promote it and market your beer. For this, I really like the label. The label is cool. It has like an alien kind of garbage kind of thing going here. But they only made such a small freaking label. That irks me. Because you have such a cool label, why do you have to make it so small when you could take a look at all this empty space? A bunch of empty space. This is what I think wasted opportunity looks like. You could have made the artwork so much more intricate and so much more going on in the background, possibly doing something with this alien drinking a can of beer in the trash. Had maybe like if you call it space trash, you can have like stars and galaxies in the background just to kind of make it more eye-popping. But the fonts on here are really nice. It's just the label's too damn fucking small. And that's what kind of irks me about it, because it's just when you waste this much space on here, it's just kind of annoying in my eyes, at least. I've done marketing in the past, so when I look at I'm wanting to market something, this is just waste, in my opinion. You want to take up the entire label just because maybe while it's in if you're like selling this at a liquor store or a bottle shop, and somebody looks at it, doesn't purchase it, and maybe puts it back in there, it maybe just slightly moves it a little bit. This is what they're going to be seeing when they look at it in the glass. That's just not going to be something that's going to grab people to the beer. So, overall, I really like the label, but it's just too damn small. So I'm going to give that overall rating for can art like a 3.75. I would have easily given it like a 4.75, almost a 5, just because if they did more with it. But it's going to be an easy 3.75 for the label for me. And let's see. If I went to Newgrass and got a flight and this beer was in there, would I get another one? The possibility of it being in a flight, because they'd have to pour it on tap, I don't know if that would be an availability thing to do. But if they took a can, poured it, and put it into a flight for you, would you buy a full glass of this? I absolutely would. The flavors are absolutely spot on. The 6% is a nice, even kind of realm for not being too boozy, not being like, not too light, not being around like that 3.7 mark to where it almost kind of tastes watered down. You don't have that thing going on there. So overall, yeah, an absolutely fantastic beer. Really big fan of this one. So let's see what my final rating on this one is going to be. To be honest, I'm going to give this one a very, very solid 9 out of 10. I'm a really big fan of this one. I think they did a fantastic job. And now, after trying this one, I'm going to definitely keep my eye out for more of these Cobbler-style sours from Newgrass, because they've kind of put themselves on the list for me when it comes to being up there with companies like Drecker or 903. When it comes to these kind of style of sours, these guys have hit the mark on something, and they're doing a fantastic job over there in Shelby, North Carolina. So keep an eye out, guys. This is a company that you shouldn't be sleeping on when it comes to this style of beer for sure, because they are absolutely nailing it. But other than that, that is pretty much it for me, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel, like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live, do another review. And let's see. Of course, if you want to try to get your hands on anything from Newgrass, they promote on their Instagram and all that stuff that they are available on Tavour. So I always recommend Tavour for being a great service. They provide you with beer that you normally can't get in your area. And it's just this crappy thing to where, depending on what state you live in, you may not be able to get it shipped to you due to each state having different like shipping laws when it comes to shipping alcohol and all that kind of thing. A lot of companies have to use small courier services to deliver their stuff, or if it's a brewery doing shipping, they're doing the shipping themselves and delivering it from house to house within that state and within that kind of area. So my recommendation for it, if you're looking to kind of see if you can get stuff from Tavour, is download the app, put in your zip code when you're kind of creating an account, and they'll tell you right away if you can get stuff delivered to you. So it's a really easy process. And if you want to possibly get like a free $10 if you're trying to create an account, hit me up. I will give you a referral code. It will give you $10 on your first beer for free. So pretty much you can buy one beer on there for free practically, and it would give me $10 too, so I could buy beer for free too. I think that'd be a pretty cool deal. But other than that, let's see. If you want to see a social media aspect when it comes to beer drinking, I'm always going to recommend getting yourself on Untapped. You can see people like me, Duchess, Kentucky, Ian, the Typhons, Not the Real Gerard Butler's on there. So a bunch of people are over there. We're checking in beers, getting badges, like commenting on all each other's posts and all that stuff, and having a good time over there. So it's a really fun time. So if you want a link to my Untapped page, the link is in the description down below for you guys. And other than that, that is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. So that's all I have for you guys today. So I think we're going to end it with this. I'm going to say it like I always say before we get the hell out of here. And so I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll have a review coming for tomorrow for you guys. And I'm going to say it like I always say, if you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see you all next time, people. Cheers.